Uh, hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. Basically, for right now, I'm just gonna get some notes together, and then Maxwell is gonna be joining me shortly. I decided to go ahead and start the stream. Um, so basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm getting some stats together for the show tonight. Um, Making sure that what I'm talking about is all sourced and a lot of fun stuff. Hope you all can hear me. I'll scoot up closer to the mic just in case you can't. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just kind of chilling before the guest gets here. Going to be going over a bunch of statistics in this video about men's mental health and I don't know, its kind of greater effect on society and vice versa. Kind of a cool and quirky uh, subject for tonight, I guess. Uh, 77% of men. Jeez. Huh. This is going to give me like a bleak outlook. All this bullying was for no reason? Trying to avoid any kind of overlap from these sources here. I'm going to send out links and stuff. Very fun. Very fun stuff. Okay, here's the link. Eventually, towards the end here, I'm going to drop the link in the comments for you all to join. But for right now, I'm just doing like show prep stuff. If you want any of your comments read, by the way, I can't read them on my Facebook page for whatever reason, or I would. So if you want them to appear on the screen, go to the YouTube. It's just under my YouTube, or go to the Kick chat, or yeah, it's at the bottom of the screen there, kick.com/thesitdown. You can find me over there. All right. How do you spell counseling? CONTOUNSELING. Okay. Spend most of my day typing and still forget like basic words sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Ugh. Jeez Louise. Oh. Send him the link so he can join. Link to join. All right, boys. Now that all that's out of the way, back to the fun part of creating and reading statistics. Pretty cool if you ask me. If you didn't ask me, well, I just told you. So there you go. So what's the deal with Israel? All right. My friend Jorge is going to join me in the chat and basically talk to me while I'm creating this link document with all the stats in it. So this should be filed differently. Just chatting. Okay. All right. Yep. So before we get into it, if you want any of your stories read, all you gotta do is message me. The people on the Kick chat, you just send your email over to. I'll drop it in the chat here. Ba, 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 ba. There we go. Basically, if you want to email me anything, I'll read it anonymously. I'm not going to know who you are either way, unless your name is literally in the email. So yeah, nothing to worry about there. All right. Make sure I don't have any. Let me bring this up. Normally I do the intro, but I'm just gonna kind of push it to the background. Google image search. Sit. All right. I'm going to bring this up. Yeah. Stupid little backdrop. Wow, it takes like 12 seconds to get an email these days. How's that? Okay. All right, yeah. Sorry, I'm waiting for this email to go through so I can just pull up this stupid picture. Yes. Okay. I got it on my phone before I got it on the PC. I mean, I guess. I hate everything. Can't send it from a specific email, so I have to send it from another email. I don't know how that works, but very cool. Very good. Get this over here. Wait till I get my money right. Oh, well, there that goes. Okay, percent. Share screen. Okay, back at it. I'm gonna go back to typing in these notes. Let's see. That seems like enough, I think. Never have too much, I guess. That's fascinating. Okay, so I hate Google sometimes. Really? That is real. Jeez. I hate I hate reading this stuff like beforehand, so I can't just like tell you guys. Otherwise, it doesn't seem as interesting, I guess. In the I'm just over here like, oh, you guys saw what I'm seeing. Yeah. So, can I get an F in chat? Shoot. Man, there's a lot to go over here. I don't know if Jorge's in here. Is he in here yet? No? Okay. All right. So for the people that are just watching now, basically what I'm doing is I'm compiling data for the conversation that is ahead of us. But for right now, I'm just kind of chilling, gonna react to some data. You're not gonna see the data that I'm reacting to though, so you're just gonna have to deal with that. Oh, Jorge's here. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
This over here. 1 second. Okay. That's going all right. I'm just kind of going over statistics, making sure that like I have everything where I need it to be for this. Let's talk about men's mental health, and I guess its effect on society and society's effect on men's mental health. Had a bunch of people message me beforehand. I don't know if I'm going to get into reading all of these or not. Because I basically asked people, like, message me if you'd like for me to talk kind of about your journey. Some of them were just like messages where the people were like, mental health isn't real. And then some people were like, oh, yeah, stuff was bad and now it's not as bad. Like,
Oh
dog,
man.
what am I supposed to do with that? How's your day been so far?
It's been all right. I just got down on some steak, egg, and bacon tacos right now. And I'd offer you one, but I mean,
email me them.
Yeah, so just had a good workout. Just had a good workout earlier. Push pull. It was pretty nice. So.
You do like long distance
yes.
Like trucking? How does that work? I guess you just like get a membership to some kind of commercial gym and
I used to. Oh no, I'll show you. Well, it's kind of a mess. Excuse the mess. I got a weight bench up here. A foldable bench. It's like a legit commercial bench. And underneath I have a storage, and I have about 450 pounds of barbell plates. I have a plate back there that I take off the ends and I screw them and it fits in the truck. Like that's like a big priority for me on the road, because you see most truckers, they weigh as much as our deadlifts. I mean, no. But it inspires. It's good. People are like, hey, how do you do that? How do you work out there? How do you stay in shape? And I'm all like, well, you could just get this. Like, I got bumper plates from Walmart for $160. A couple of 45s. I bought it 3 times. So I have
For me, when I didn't really have access to a gym, I just got a kettlebell. So I got I had 2 kettlebells. I had a 15 and a 30, and then I had a bunch of bands. And it was like a 20, a 30, a 40, and then I had one that was 90 as far as like resistance rating.
Yeah.
And man, those bands, if you're like really trying, like if you're into it and you like, know what you're doing, you'll get a lot done.
Oh, believe me, yes. You can make the most out of anything if you want. But let me see. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's all my equipment.
I can't see any of that, brother.
Oh shit! I got it. It's a sweet setup. Let's see. Now, can you see it?
Okay, I can kind of see I can see a plate. Oh no, there's a
I
bunch
got
of plates. Okay, I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't fuck around out here.
How long have you been
Yes.
lifting?
Honestly, all my life, I've always done some kind of sports, wrestling, boxing, MMA.
Okay.
I I'm only 5'10", 215, 210. I used to be real skinny. I've always wanted to play football and basketball, but height matters. I mean, so
Except for, well, I guess you said that you wrestled.
yes.
So I wrestled for like a year and a half, and short guys, y'all kind of have it made when it comes to wrestling because your moment, like your what's that word? Your center of gravity is
Center of
very
gravity.
low, and
Yes.
basically you just like when when you're like if you're standing, you have head tracking where you're basically burying your head in someone's chest to like follow the trunk of their body because they can't get
Yeah.
anywhere. Those short guys are putting their head in my sternum. They're like, so it's like pushing the air out of me, and I can't
Yeah, it is. That's why you get those underhooks. You fight for those underhooks and try to get lower, but you spread out. That's how a tall guy would do it. So it's that sucks. But I like being. I'm happy with myself. I mean, I've always been confident. I'm new to this internet deal, and I probably could pertain to tonight's subject about height because a lot of people are like, "Oh, she doesn't care," about women obsessed with height. I personally never experienced it. I mean,
I think it's normally like men who have a lot of like pretty visible and readily apparent like character flaws being like it's because of my height, and it's like it's not though. It's mostly not. Like
it's
maybe every once in a while, I guess they care, but I don't know. Maybe I've never had that because I'm 6'2". But
yeah, you're an awesome height, and I've always been stocky like White. I know women; they're like, I always get compliments. Ooh, I love your shoulders and your So yeah, there's always some characteristics of, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm Hispanic. A lot of us are fucking short as fuck. And, I've seen a lot of guys pull up baddies. I've seen 5'6", 130-pound Edgars pull on some baddies. So I refuse to believe it's a height thing, and that's just the truth. So.
So I'm Hispanic. I'm the tallest Hispanic like that I've ever met.
What? You can need to come to Texas. They're fucking huge.
I don't know. Like I feel like they're like in my hometown. It was a lot of it's like a lot of Guatemalans. I feel like the Mexican population wasn't that big. It was mainly like people from El Salvador and Guatemalans, and then there's a lot of Mexicans there too. But I'm taller than everybody on both sides of my family, so I don't know.
My dad was 6'1". My mom's 4'10". I'm right in the. I got the perfect medium.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, I'm like 2 inches from the 6 foot, but I don't know. I don't know. I never obsessed. Like I said, I never obsessed with height. I've always been strong enough to just toss a motherfucker over my shoulder. Like it didn't matter. Like it's like weight doesn't exist.
What's your SBD? What was your squat bench deadlift?
Oh shit! I never maxed out my squat, but I have gotten 360 before. I probably wouldn't count it because I was bent over too much. I've deadlifted 520. Okay. Bench, I never maxed out, but I've done 225 10 times more. I don't max out. I think that's crazy. Except for deadlift. Deadlift is the shit.
If you're not doing any kind of competition, there's no reason to max out. It just gives people a frame of reference, and you have like people with insanely high totals that can't do much else. So
Well, I mean, you need for certain sports, you need it like Zerchers are big for wrestling. It translates
yeah,
into it. We'd like to do a lot of things, landmines, a lot of power, Olympic lifting, power cleans, and jerks and snatch and jerks. Those translate well into wrestling for slams. Like, so I like to do stuff that I believe would be that would work in real life, and for yeah, like a lot of like I like to do a lot of landmines, like heavy off the ground. I love to do stone lifting. I love natural stone lifting. That's the shit.
oh yeah.
I do that out here
I
all the
loved it.
time.
Like I've loved that before I became a strongman, and now being a strongman, I get the chance to like actually do that. Like actually put my hands on a big rock and then move that big rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel crazy? You're like, oh, you just feel like a monster. Just
Like
like, ah.
you're the part of your brain that's still caveman. You're like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's fucking
Kill a
lit.
saber-toothed tiger right now.
Fuck yeah, straight up Indio style right there. I noticed in a lot of traditional Mexican households, if you're working out, they're like, oh, you're working, you want to work out? I'll get you work out. And they put you to hard. I'm like, ah, fuck, we gotta go do this. We gotta go put up some concrete. We gotta go put all that. Yeah, it's funny. So, but yeah, how long you been doing strongman? That's badass.
So non-competitively for about a year and 2 months, and then as far as training for competition, my first like official competition, I've done like strongman Saturdays and stuff like that, but like official competition was September last month. I trained for that for 4 months. What happened was, so they had a 13-inch deadlift, and that was like the first lift of the day, and
Yeah.
I tore like basically like my thumb out of out of my hand. Like I tore like a huge circle out of my hand, and it's the first lift of the day. Like, so I did that, and then I that I just went 365 because it's the 13-inch deadlift. It feels a little bit different. I think my max is like 465 something. That's a thing that I don't max really. Every now and again I'll put some weight on to see like if I can lift it or not. But
yes.
So yeah, so it was a bad showing for my first competition, but I'm not that worried about it. I'll bounce back and I'll do better next time. I just kind of learned what my limit is, I guess, or you know, I felt like I had trained hard enough, and I still, so I did sandbags. I got to 275. The deadlift I did 8, and I got 2 no reps. That's fine. Conan wheel, I got 2 rotations, and then the frame carry would have been my next event. And I like I said, I had a hole in my hand, so that was kind of it. No. I'm misremembering this. I did the frame carry, and when I went to pick it up, my body's, I guess, reflex to like being in pain for the bar being on my hand. I just kind of like tweaked, and there's 450 pounds on this frame. So my back, it started to feel real weird, and I was like, that'll be it. I quit.
Yeah, you gotta listen to your body. I heard that a lot. Listen to your body whenever they did it.
Yeah, it's a super important thing that people don't.
Yeah, that must. Hey, but you can always train for another one. You know, I mean.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll make a comeback.
So, what's your favorite strongman event? You would say?
Viking press.
Oh shit! Okay.
Viking press. That's probably what I'm best at. You know what a Viking press is?
Yes. Oh, I would
Okay.
love strongman. I watch strongman.
So with the Viking press, I think I got up to 400 or like 390. It's somewhere like around the 400 area.
Oh,
And I remember if my old Facebook was still up, I think I had a video of it on there.
that's sick as fuck.
It I guess it's not really a 1-to-1. Like, you know, I'm not going to put 400 pounds and overhead press it, but like that just feeling like being able to lift 400 pounds above your head, you know, there's
Yeah.
no like, there's no feeling like that. Like, to me, anyways, like I feel like that was I love that lift. Log press would be a close second to that.
Log
Uh,
press. Hell yeah.
And then third, I really like sandbags. I really, really like sandbags.
Bro, those things are beasts, dude. Fuck.
So 275 is kind of like, because once you get, once you get above about 250, sandbags become more awkward, like pound for pound that stones are,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, because just the grip it's an entirely different thing. And in doing this, like the bags, the 300-pound bag, I can get to my legs, or I can get to my knees, but 275 pounds is where I max out, like, because you have to put it over a bar dependent on like your weight division. So for my weight division, it's 52 inch. So I can take 275 in a bag and put it over. But if I was just, like, I, I just wait. That's something I'm gonna have to like train. I want to break that 300-pound. I want to.
How much do you weigh?
Who, me? My walk around now is probably 215-ish. During competition, it's probably closer to 225.
Oh,
Something like that.
We're about the same weight.
I'm like thinned out. I think when I started lifting, because I was off of lifting for like a year, and then starting lifting again, I think it was like 260, 265.
Woof. God damn, that's a lot. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like a cool 265. It was like a very messy 265.
But still, that
Yeah.
weight though, I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean,
is that the heaviest you ever been is 260?
no, God, no. I actually sent a
Oh
picture.
shit.
Hold on. Let me find this picture. I weighed 370 pounds in
What?
yeah, in high school.
That's 370. Yeah, I remember you ever heard of that one power lifter, Jesus, what the hell's his name? Jesus something.
He's a power
I
lifter?
can't think of. Yeah. Yeah, he has the highest all time of all the lifts. He's just a monster.
Oh, Oliveros.
Yeah, that guy. He's from Texas.
He's
Yeah,
sponsored.
Texas has a lot of.
I think. Hold on. I'm not certain of this, but let me find his Instagram, because I think. Yeah, we're sponsored by the same Airwave. We're both sponsored by Airwave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me correct that. He's sponsored. I'm on Flow, meaning like they give me stuff, but I don't have like a discount code or anything like that. they send me t-shirts and their products and stuff like that. My friend worked for, or he was a part of like the company as it was coming up, or is still a part of the company, and then put in a word for me. I don't know. It's very confusing, but either way, they send me stuff, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a,
nice. Oh, yeah.
it's pretty cool. I've had I don't know, just so this is my new Facebook account, the one that you have added now. And on my other one, I had like 30,000 followers. And so when I started doing the strongman stuff, um, like a while ago, I was sponsored by Ray's energy drink.
Okay.
And I was sponsored by Throttle Addict, and just like a bunch of people just sent me stuff, like supplement brands and stuff like that. And that's kind of what's led into the supplement brand that I'm going to be developing over this next month. That's going to be releasing on November
That's gonna be
1st.
cool. So what kind of supplements are you gonna make?
So far, I'm not going to be making anything. I'm not going to be like, my thing is like coming up with the name, and then deciding on which supplements I want to be under that name from this company. So what I'm thinking of, so definitely, definitely a B complex, and I think I'm going to look into some ashwagandha.
Oh yes.
I'm going to look into a D3 and K12. What is that called? It's like when it's in a dropper, they call it
Oh shit, I know what you're talking about. I just went to buy some cookies.
fermented. They call it fermented for some reason. So that so B complex, D3, K12, ashwagandha, and then
What do you think about Tangat Ali? I'm personally big into a lot of male hormone types of supplements for like basically healthy hormonal levels, like Tangat Ali, maca root, nightshade, what's it called? Zinc. Yeah, like pretty much the easiest part I figured out was male optimal male health is pretty much for sexual health and things like that.
Yeah, it's always
it's always that shit. So it works.
So I got a creatine in here. I got a magnesium supplement. I got a D3 only pill. I got I'm gonna go with, I don't know if I'm gonna go with regular mono creatine or HCl yet. I think I'm gonna go with HCl because it seems kind of like it's booming in popularity. There's enough science behind it that it seems like a solid place to look into. Let me.
Have you considered like making protein bars or something like that?
So I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking like the distribution of those would have been. I feel like that would have been more like more of an issue than it's worth, I guess. Like, because then I have to like worry about FDA and stuff because they don't make those. I would have to make those. Is it here? Yeah, here it is. So the liquid D3. Oh yeah. So this is something I was looking into, was velvet, deer velvet. It's something like, because there's so much research that I have to do, because I can't in good faith just be like, yes, this is a cure all for whatever you have going on. or that it's even going to solve any part of your problem unless I'm like able to do the research. NAC is going to be another thing that I'm, interested in taking on. And then I was looking at something for macular regeneration, which is just for like eye health.
Okay.
So far I have
That's what I have so far. So beetroots, L-carnitine, maca, COQ, Tongat Ali, calcium, magnesium, and a bunch of heart hormone and basically muscle things. What about lutein? Would you ever consider that one?
How much do you pay for beetroot? Do you know offhand?
This was like only $20 for a bunch of chews. It's about, I seen about the same for a drink or that. This stuff, it's $20. It's like candy.
Okay, so for this, I'd be looking at like a 60-day supply for $18,
Okay.
or a 30-day supply for like $9.
Wow, that's not bad. That's really good. Shit, I'll get it. I
And
use this shit all the time.
what was the thing that you just asked me about a second ago?
The supplements?
Yeah, you asked me have I looked into something.
COQ? That's all. I believe that's for heart health.
I thought you said like theanine or something like
Lutein? Lutein was for eye health. I was regarding. COQ10 was for heart health. Maca, L-carnitine, Tongat Ali.
So this is what's in there. This is vision and eye support. This is it's a greens blend for vision, which is going to be prickly pear, spinach, chlorella, and then tomato, and then for the eye integrity, it's bilberry, carrot, turmeric, lutein, and zeaxanthin.
Zeaxanthin? Yeah, I think so.
Such a weird word to have to say.
Dang, that sounds like a good blend because I take a lot of those separately together to make it. So now they're doing their, they know they're doing their thing. They're doing pretty good on that one.
Yeah, these are all going to come with like certificates of analysis. Make sure that they've gone through like double-blind studies. The B blend is, or the B complex rather. There's like two different ways that I can get it, which is in dropper form or in pill form. And in dropper form, I'm just going to go over some of the ingredients here, which is biotin, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, B6 complex, which is pyridoxine. I don't know the specifics of any of this.
Oh shit! I know niacin.
Okay, I'm sorry. So that's broken down like by mineral, right? So the ingredients are like those, and then a fermented probiotic media. So it also has a probiotic with it, and then it'll have blackstrap molasses, which is allegedly like supposed to slightly shift your pH balance towards a more alkalytic state to help prevent all something like a 40% reduction in various types of cancer, because like I'll get into this with like before this is released all the way, but it's cancer thrives in acidity and blah 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 blah.
Oh wow,
Um,
that's good. It's real good.
that's here. I'm gonna pull this up so I'm not just talking out of my ass.
Oh no, I'm listening. I'm listening because I have a visual right here. I have the beats in my hand right now, so I'm comparing the ingredients. That one does sound superior. Your this one has a lot of it, but it's missing some of it. Citrulline, niacin. I love niacin. I used to use that to beat drug tests back in the day. I don't smoke anymore, but yeah, niacin's powerful. I love that burn it gives you.
Let's see. Sulfured. Okay, so here I'll share my screen. So here's
Blackstrap molasses is high in antioxidants. Oh fuck yeah! I love. I'm assuming it's purple. I know purple foods have a lot of high in antioxidants, blood vessels. Oh hell yeah!
Let's see. It just looks like molasses. It's just dark brown.
Yeah, it sounds like it's some good stuff right there. Like that's really all you need, all natural. I mean, diet is really everything. Supplements, vitamins. That's really all it is. I don't eat fast food at all on the road, except for a pizza when I go to the casino in Pennsylvania. But other than that's about it.
I try not to eat like garbage most of the time.
Oh,
Try.
I did that a few months ago. I did whatever. I was doing the Mike Menser method to gain as much mass, and I just ate whatever. But then I had to drop some weight. I was like, ooh.
For me, it was about a calorie cut. As cut and dry as I can make it. I was just eating very inconsistently. Meal prep helped me with that a lot. Shout out to chicken.
Chicken, I'm a beef person.
Chicken and orzo. I was eating that a lot. I was eating a lot of carnitas. I was eating like a lot of steak, eggs. Yeah, just like super clean, like no soda. I haven't had caffeine. I haven't had caffeine in 2 years. I was looking at the date, so I was like, how long has it been? Yeah, so 2 days before Christmas of 2021. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with Maxwell. I'm just gonna. Are you ready to talk about men's mental health?
Oh, always. Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through point by point this current state of men's mental health, and then I'm going to go into what I believe some of the causes are, and then at the end we're going to go on the effect that it's had on us kind of as a society,
Yes.
the formation from well we'll get into it. Okay.
Yes.
So men's mental health is obviously something very important to me. Not only am I a man, and being a man runs in my family. My grandfather was a man. My father was a man. Most of my friends are men, and I feel like this is a thing that's very important that kind of gets swept under the rug because men do this very crappy thing where they won't permit other men to just be sad, or to, like, if you're bummed out, and there are plenty of legitimate reasons to be bummed out. Like, men do a bad job at saying, "Hey, man, it's okay to be bummed out. Um, what can I do to help? Do you want to talk about this thing that you're going through?" That sort of thing. Um, so what I'm going to do throughout the next, 20, 30 minutes or so, we're going to comb through this, get to what I believe the issues are, um, and hopefully someone will see this and it'll help them better understand their own mental duress, or maybe there's some signals in someone else that maybe they're not seeing yet. So I'm going to go ahead and start with some statistics, and some of this is going to be anecdotal, because I've I have panic. I don't know if you would call it like a panic disorder, but it's, I do get super anxious. I've had anxiety attacks before. I've had, I think, panic attacks before. Um, and I'll get into that a little bit later on, though. So, though men account for about 10% of patients with bulimia or anorexia, men with an eating disorder are far, far less likely to seek professional help. I started with this because I think that that's one of those things. So, as um, as almost anybody who bodybuilds or weightlifts will tell you, you kind of start down this path for physical health, because it helps with mental health. It helps with, it helps with a lot of stuff, and helps you kind of battle some demons. Not gonna lie, it does. The crappy thing about that, though, and anybody who says they've not had at least a smidge of this, is probably being a little bit dishonest. You get body dysmorphia. To what degree, or how, I guess, intrusive that is to you, that can vary greatly. Me, I have it mildly, because I'm always like, this is what I need to do to get a better physique. That, well, I don't have good muscles here. I don't have good muscles here. Whatever it is, some of that is completely healthy. But sometimes you develop this weird back and forth, like, I don't want to call it a God complex, where you're like, oh man, I look really good today. Oh, today I look like crap. Just this back and forth. It's not bad, but I don't think I would consider it good for most people who can't handle their own imperfections. So it creates this imbalance of, um, I'm down so bad, and we're back, boys. Down bad, we're back, and you have this like back and forth. But we'll get more into that in a little bit. Over 6 million men suffer from depression per year. Now, that being said, men, I think I put this in the wrong spot. Okay, here it is. Okay, so over 6 million men suffer from depression per year, but male depression often goes underdiagnosed. Why that is because only 40% of men have ever spoken. No, I'm sorry. 40% of men have never spoken to anyone about their mental health. That means only 60% of all these cases is resulting in that 6 million per year. So following the numbers, that means we're closer to 10. Sucks, but that's what it is. And that's not even including long-term depression. This is like a yearly depression where they're going through a slump, maybe a divorce, maybe a death in the family, that sort of thing. More than 3 million in the US have panic disorder, agoraphobia or any other phobia. I included this because agoraphobia, as much as like people on Twitter or Tumblr or Reddit like to upplay minor bouts of it, there are guys who absolutely fear going in public. I think part of that, and this is anecdotal, so just putting that out there, that this is anecdotal. As a man going out in public, you are more likely to be engaged in like a physical conflict than women are. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Even a normal confrontation, a normal argument, a normal debate, there is an underlying, I guess, threat would be the word, of physical violence, and that's kind of the truth about being a man, is that it's always there, and that's why men kind of watch their tone when women argue. It's very different than when men argue with each other. Men conduct themselves with like a
Respect.
ceiling. I guess it would be the best wording for that. You have a ceiling for how volatile you're willing to be to another man, because violence is it's a real thing that can happen just as a result of like a normal argument. Agoraphobia. I think a lot of guys are going, afraid of going out in public, because I feel like some weak men always want to fight something. They always need to prove that they're doing something. An accomplished man he just wants to get in, get out, do what he has to do as a person. Weak men, and I don't mean this, well, I think that there's a lot of framework that's missing from their life, and I think that they take that out on people who have maybe positioned themselves a little bit better. And I think that kind of contributes to like men with unaddressed mental health issues. They go out in public and they start shit. That's just kind of how it is. 1.6 million men in America are affected by bipolar disorder. The age of onset for men is between 16 to 25 years old. So that's normally about the time that it hits men. It affects women normally earlier. Women do develop faster, so mental health problems develop quicker as kind of a result of like a hormonal efficiency, because their bodies are developing quicker than men's are. So one of the leading causes of disability in America is schizophrenia. Approximately 3.5 million people have been diagnosed, and 90% of those who have been diagnosed by age 30 are men. It's kind of a frightening statistic, I think.
That's I never knew that. I never knew any of these statistics were that high. That's very intense.
We're gonna get into some stuff like later on that is pretty rough. So 90% of people that are diagnosed with schizophrenia before the age of 30 are men. Those are young men. And men have a rough time talking about their mental health crisis or their mental health deficiencies or issues, problems, however you wish to phrase it, because of reception. And this is me being anecdotal again, so this is not a statistic that I'm citing. When I was dealing with my anxiety issues, and a lot of that had to go hand in hand, or did go hand in hand with a lack of exercise. That's anecdotal. Like I'm saying, that's not a cure-all for everybody, and I understand that. For me, if I'm not actively doing something, so I don't get overwhelmed in that I have a lot to do. I get very underwhelmed in that I don't have enough to do. And then my brain goes to this, it keeps itself busy. And how it keeps itself busy is, oh, here, Maxwell just got here. I'm going to bring him in.
How's it going, fellas? Sorry I'm late.
Hey, buddy. No problem.
So,
I'm going to finish what I'm saying real quick, Maxwell, and then I'm going to do your introduction, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
So me personally, I have an anxiety out of like lack of exertion. So if I don't do a lot, strongman is helping me with this, and going to the gym is helping me with this. But if I don't have like a busy schedule, I personally become very anxious. I'm a very miserable person because my mind doesn't have things to occupy that time. So I get kind of down, out, overwhelmed by nothing, which is kind of strange, I guess, but also reading as I have, I'm going to have to pull this up again. I didn't put it in here. While I'm pulling this up, and we give Maxwell his introduction. Maxwell is a strongman. Where do you live, Maxwell?
I live in Winnebago, Nebraska.
Alrighty, and you live on a reservation there, is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. You want to tell these people a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, so to start off with why I chose the topic that I did, I'd say I was about 18, 19 years old, and one of my friends unfortunately took his own life, and I kind of didn't do anything for years. I couldn't get out of that haze because he was my first training partner and the only guy I really kind of got along with in high school. I hung out with him all the time, and after high school, I kind of just we didn't really talk a lot. So I got out of college and I had basically dropped out and all that other stuff, and it was just pretty bad there for a couple of years. And I asked my dad at the time. I asked him, like, why he would do something like that, because I didn't understand. Me personally, I couldn't understand why somebody would do that. And my dad couldn't really help me either. So for years, I just kind of sat with that. And now that I'm older, I kind of understand that some people just can't go on. And for whatever reason, they see that as the only way out. And I don't really hold it against them. It's just that I don't think that there's enough opportunities for men to have somebody to lean on. And unfortunately, that's just the way we're raised.
Do you think
We're just
that's
told.
I'm very sorry to hear about your loss, by the way. Do you think that is a result of you think that's a generational thing, like our fathers kind of taught us that because their fathers taught them that? Or do you think that that's just a societal norm at this point?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because in my experience, in past relationships, I mean, this is just from my personal experience. I'm not saying every woman is like this, but they will, they'll tell you that it's okay to open up about things, and then the things that you tell them have been held in for years. So, like, things I've heard guys tell me about how they were telling their girlfriend about how they were either sexually assaulted or raped or something, and they make light of it, or they say, well, that's not the same because you could have just pushed her off of you or pushed him off of you or whatever. It's just, it gets pretty, some people are really brutal about it and they're not really forgiving. And as a matter of fact, that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to start my own men's mental health group so men can just come in and talk about whatever the hell it is they want to talk about. It doesn't even have to be anything big. But I think our fathers, they were raised like that because you think about the caliber of men that they came from. My dad he had a lot of World War II veterans and Korean War veterans and stuff around him. And unfortunately, some of them committed suicide too. So I do think it's generational, but I mean, you can't keep going on like that it's really hard when your mind is your own enemy.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm gonna transition back into what I was saying a second ago, and then we're gonna kind of expand on what you're talking about, right? So I was talking about like exercising and its impact on my mental health. So I was looking up statistics just to kind of back what I was saying. So Duke University, they did a study of the correlation between exercise and mental health. So this study found, and if you'd like to go look it up, it is going to be Duke University, APA, exercise versus statistics. If you use those keywords, you'll be able to find exactly what I'm talking about. 91% of people who participated in regular physical activity reported improved overall mental health. This is a study of 3,000 participants in 18 different countries. The improvements range from, they did like a gradient scale of from 18% to 30%, with an average being around 21% better overall mental health. How exactly you would grade that is quality of life, interactions with your friends, interactions with your family, that sort of thing, and its impact on them. And basically, they just made it scalable for people to better understand exercise and its impact. I don't know if either of you, before working out versus after working out, had a positive impact because of exercising or lifting, however you want to say it. For me, it did a lot. It did a lot for me.
Well, I can attest to that. It did a lot. My reason was for weird reasons. There was some dudes at school, and I started training just so I could fuck them up. If I'm gonna be honest, and it felt good, but it's from the wrong thing. But it relates in the sense of feeling better about yourself, no matter where the depression. Me, I've never been a
Right.
depressed kind of guy. I've always been like a disappointed kind of guy because it would upset me that people would. I had high expectations for people, get people the benefit of the doubt, and they would let me down. And I knew better, and I was denying myself things of not facing. I don't say not facing reality, but be like, nah, they're not really. People aren't really what they are. But at the same time, I don't want to fall into a look in the world in that way. So for me, it's always about balance, and that's on a personal level. Working out, eating right, doing your hobbies. You got to feel good. We got to win. You got to get a win. I believe in that every day. You got to do some kind of win. So, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. Especially, like, I understand the weight problem thing too, because I think after I dropped out of college, I think my weight went from 227 to like 293, and I felt terrible. Like, I just did not enjoy being that heavy, or the way I was eating was absolutely disgusting too. I was not proud of any of that. And I lifted a lot on and off when I was young. I think I started lifting with my dad when I was like 12 years old, and it was just always there for me to go do, because I knew all the technique and everything, and I had always been lifting with my dad, so I wasn't a stranger to it. But that's why I think, when I brought it up to Andrew, that's why I thought about that, because some people don't have those male figures around, especially because I work with a lot of young kids around here, and a lot of them don't have that, and they don't have somebody to teach them how to lift weights or how to throw a baseball or anything like that.
So in a minute, I have some stuff about male role models that I'm going to get into. I'm going to finish off the rest of these regular statistics, and then we're going to get into the talk about male role models and its effect on men's health. Is sound like a plan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So 77% of men polled have suffered with common mental health symptoms like anxiety, stress, or depression. 40% of those men have never spoken to anyone about their mental health. 29% of those haven't done so because they are too embarrassed to speak about it, while 20% said that there is a negative stigma on the issue. The most prevalent causes of mental health issues in men's lives are work at around 32%, their finances at around 31%, and their health around 23%. 40% of men said it would take thoughts or planning of, I don't want to get kicked off of anything for saying this, so serious self-harm, the kind that would end your life. That's what it would take for 40% of men to be planning that. That's what it would take for people to go see someone. It's just like, it's a super low bar.
Yeah.
It's a super duper low bar. So, and you know, talking about this, the very last thing that we're going to go over is going to be reasons that they haven't attended counseling, and you know, some of the effects that this whole thing has caused. And then we're going to go over some symptoms. But for right now, I'm going to go over male role models and their effect on mental health of young men. So this is, I'm probably going to say one of these words wrong, but if you'd like, I'll spell it. I'll spell out what it is that I'm trying to say, because it's, the Princess Trust Macquarie, MACQUARIE Youth Index shows that there are more than 1 in 4 young people, 27%, who do not have a positive male role model in their life, which hurts. As a man, that hurts me. It hurts me because I'm pretty involved in my community. I'm a coach for an organization where I take a bunch of young men under my wing. 1 in 4 people don't have a positive male role model to look up to. And you're depriving these children of vitamins. Whether it's you just not wanting to step up and be there, which is its own thing. And then there's disallowing a positive male role model from a person, which is it is a thing. It most certainly is a thing. Men get denied rights to their children all the time. They really do. And not to say that there's not bums, because there is bums. And I at this point in my life, I couldn't be friends with someone who was just like a shit dad. I couldn't do that. There's no point in me acting like I'd be cool with that. So this is we're gonna get into the statistics of the affected youth. So this is the interview of those youth who do not have a positive male role model in their life. 42% suffer from self-loathing. 45% feel inferior to others. 31% feel insecure all or most of the time. Young men without positive male role models are three times more likely than their peers with male role models to lack a sense of belonging. they are 29% less likely to feel happy and confident than those with male role models. They're 3 times more likely to feel down and depressed a majority or all of the time, and significantly more likely to admit they can't remember the last time they felt proud.
That's actually pretty heartbreaking. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. That's like half of the youth out there that are going through something like this. It's sometimes I think a lot of people just need to take the initiative and just help children. I do. I try to be positive around everybody. I used to work at a thing program to keep kids out of gangs and out of jail, to keep them off the streets, because a lot of these young kids, at least in my generation, I'm 38 years old, they look, including myself, look to the streets for that male role model, and it was worse than doing something. But I think more men need to reach out and tell these kids it's okay, so they could stay away from something and making terrible mistakes that I had to pay for dearly. And a lot of these, and that's what leads to a lot of mental. More than half in the correctional facilities, most of the people there do have mental health issues. They're not taken there seriously, and that's definitely a place that can't be shown weakness, or you get eaten up alive. And it's heartbreaking, man. It's really heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think I've come across that a lot of times, and I guess I'm not surprised by the statistics on that, but I am at the same time. It's kind of disappointing to hear about the self-loathing, and I mean, that's terrible. Because I grew up with a lot of guys that, I mean, most of them have either gone to prison, or they don't really, well, like we said earlier, they don't take care of their kids. But this is such a small community. People call each other out for stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's really terrible, because I remember this year I was coaching the baseball team, and I remember every game we would go to, even home games, there would be no parents in the stands. It'd be like maybe 2 or 3, and it would be a bunch of employees from our job, but it wouldn't be any of like the actual parents. And that was probably the hardest thing for us, was like getting after the parents and telling them, like, come on, show up to your kids' game.
You live on a reservation, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever lived off of it?
Yeah.
Your sense of community, on versus off, would you say that it was stronger on?
I hate to say it, and not to be offensive to my people or anything, but not really. I don't think it was very positive. It's not a very positive environment around here. It's kind of like a crabs in a bucket mindset. And it's really bad, because the ones that do want to get out and go somewhere, they get talked down on. When they come back, everybody goes, "Oh, you think you're better than us because you lived somewhere else," and they do that stuff all the time, and it's not good. But I mean, when I lived off the reservation, there was all kinds of positivity. To be honest, I mean, it was hard to find somebody who just didn't like me for whatever reason. But I mean, living in a bigger city, it's easier to ignore that kind of stuff. It's easier to just walk past somebody and not even know that they don't like you for whatever reason. And I think it just kind of, like, gossip travels here fast.
Oh yeah.
All
So
right.
I think that's what they say. Get out of your environment. I mean, yeah, they say you got to move out. I forgot there's a saying, but yeah, sometimes you just got to get out there and be around different things that can have a positive impact on yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So, I guess let's dive more into the statistics, because there's more. All right. So, more than 1 in 3 say this is the same people that are lacking male role models. More than 1 in 3 says they completely lack a sense of self-identity. 36% young men without male role models are more likely to end up not in employment, education, or training. NEETs, if you've ever heard that term, that's 1 in 5. Okay. 1 in 5 people without a positive male role model. It's slightly over that. It's 21%. Have never had a job, full or part-time.
Damn.
How are they being supported? That boggles my mind. I've always had it where if I didn't work, I die. Like, holy shit.
More than 2/5 of young people without role models have felt it sucks not being able to say something that's so relevant to this. I can't say more than depressed, if you get what I'm saying, like thoughts of serious self-harm. I can't say that S word for that because they'll take me off of like Facebook and everything for it. So 42% have felt that. Man.
Yeah, that's really disappointing.
80%.
The strangest.
I'm going to try to like get into this without getting into it. So Sue of side. Everything that I'm about to say is going to be Sue of side statistics from here on. Okay, so I'm just going to read off the statistics so I can get through this part because it's a lot. 80% of all Sue of side victims in England are male. Let's see. I'm sorry. This is out of all young people. So all people under the age of 18 that it's from the same study. Normally they lack male role models. So yeah, 80% of them are young men. And now we're going to get into the rest of these statistics for men and women. On average, there are somewhere between 50 and 52,000. You know what? If they take me off, they take me off. Suicides per year. This is in the United States. 2022, it was 49,449 people. Out of those, 40,255 were men. A majority of those were white men. And basically that's from the age of like 49 and younger, most of them falling in between 25 and 49. Males make up 80% of all suicides in the United States. This doesn't seem right. Men are more likely to use more violent means to commit the act, and they're more likely to do it impulsively. Something like 70% of all men, I'd have to find that statistic again, but are committing suicide by gun. So going from so suicidality rates increased from the year 2000. Increased from about 5% to now we're around. No, I'm sorry. So there were 5 suicides per 100,000 in the year 2000, and now we're at 18 per 100,000, which is a little bit over triple because of deteriorating mental health in this country. Whether it's the system, whether it's the people in it, I don't know. But I do know that it's heartbreaking seeing young men get laughed at online anytime that they're suicidal, anytime they're depressed, anytime they're down, people trying to use it as ammunition against them. A really crappy thing that I've seen people do is like people will go through these mental health, like they'll go manic or they'll go into some kind of state of psychosis. They won't get the help that they need. And I see it a lot online. I've been, kind of part of these bigger Facebook communities for a long time. And I see these people they don't get the help that they need and they come right back and they destroy themselves. I don't know what the solution is, but I can tell you that we're not close to it. Men need help. And us talking about it is part of the problem, or part of the solution to that. But if they're too embarrassed to speak about it, I mean, here's the pictograph or the picture in the background here, the infographic. 40% have never spoken to anybody about their mental health, while 77% have symptoms of negative mental health. 77%. That's 4 out of every 5 guys. You got so much pressure on us. Like,
A lot of it has to do with the responsibilities. It's not easy being a man. There's so much expected out of us, and we're men literally. Doesn't matter how it sounds like. Men literally are the infrastructure of and build of what society is. Every time doesn't matter what people say. Every time there's a problem, they're going to call a man to fix it. So we do have a lot that's required of us. I'm up to the task. I understood that a long time ago. I understood that nobody cares and they don't have to. And it's okay because I've been able to do something with myself and improve on my self-attitude to bring myself further. A lot of it starts with that initiation within self. Sometimes you just got to bring them to it so they can get that for themselves. But a lot of it is a lot of people are just lacking the ambition to do it, and that's part of it. And they should be encouraged.
I'm not sure where to go from here as far as like mental health for men. I do think that we just kind of say shut up, move on, get over yourself. And I think that some people that works for, and some people are just not, they don't have the mental dexterity. They just don't have it. And they end up tearing themselves down because they get dumb advice from people who
Yeah.
Maybe they thought it was for the best, and I'm not saying that everybody necessarily needs to put on needs to be put on some kind of antipsychotic or something like that. Medicine, I don't think is for everybody. Just like I don't think that exercising is for everybody. However, there are cases where medicine is completely necessary. There's cases where literally doing anything to better your situation could get you out of a pretty bad mental state. And I see a lot of people, it's one or the other. Like you don't need to exercise, just take these pills, or you don't need to take these pills, just exercise. Look, I've been lifting for a long time, and I've met some genuine psychopaths.
Yeah.
Some genuine people that need to be on medication. And a lot of those guys, they get on gear, like guys with like real bad mental problems that get on gear, they are a problem
Yeah.
for everyone. Especially like they'll start like taking crazy stacks, and they'll melt their brain. What's left of
Yeah.
it? It's sad.
Oh, well,
Yeah. I think. Oh, good.
Oh, I was gonna say I was just breathing, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, I think. Yeah, I think what you were talking about earlier is, it's really. I think that the issue with it is that we don't stand up for each other enough. Because I had that same issue was like when I got out of my depression and negative thoughts and stuff is what I'm gonna call it, so I don't get you kicked off. Stuff like that. I more or less, if I didn't have my little brother around, and which is funny, I felt even worse after my little brother was the one that helped me out of it. And even to this day, he doesn't know how terrible I feel about him having to pick me up because I'm the big brother. I'm the one who's supposed to be there for him. And when he helped me out of that, I felt terrible, but I noticed in the weeks after that he was in a much better mood and he was much happier for me to be around. The jokes and stuff that we tell each other, he can't just go to work and say that stuff to people and they'll get it. And so I think the most important part is that maybe some people don't have a brother like that that's going to come talk to them for hours on end about whatever it is that's bothering them. And um I do my best to try and help people, but like you said, it's a case by case basis. Some people don't react well to you coddling them, and some people also don't react well to you telling them, to get up and do something for themselves or make something of themselves. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for my little brother, I might not even be on this podcast because he was the one that got me to join Strongman because I was afraid of doing it. I was so afraid of getting out there and letting my dad down was the most important thing for me. And I think after I got third twice this year, and I mean I've never seen my dad happier. So when I told him about it, he was pretty excited, and he was like, "Shit, I mean that's crazy that you're even pulling trucks and lifting stones and doing stuff like that." He's like, I'm proud of you just for trying." And so I think that's the other thing is like we ruin our own mental health with what we think other people think of us. And I
I
think
think
we just need to.
my father was the exact same way. When I talked to my dad, it's never, maybe once or twice in my life has ever said, like, I'm proud of you. I'm stoked on you doing that. And strongman was one of those things.
Yep.
He's very much like, because he was, so he was a strongman. My dad's total was like something. Let me do the math on this real quick. So his bench press was three. He had a 405 bench press. He had a little over, like his squat was like it was like an 8 plate or something like that. But
Shit.
Jesus.
yeah, but
Yeah,
my dad's also like 5'6", so like
perfect.
that.
Tell you those stocks. Oh, so how are y'all's fathers? I could tell y'all about mine because sounds like y'all's dads were different, which is really great though. But I believe we all have different kinds of fathers.
My
All right.
father is a farmer. He's a bluegrass musician. He's a hard ass. My dad's a real hard ass. He's very, very southern. I think if you met my father and you did not know that that was my father, you would not know that's my father. He's very much like, hey man, I ain't seen you since like that's my dad has a very thick
real
southern
accent.
drawl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think when I was younger, look, I love my dad. I appreciate my dad now. When I was young, my dad was a real piece of shit. No offense to him. He's learned and he's grown and he's become he's a good dad now. He 100% is. But when I was a kid, he was not. He just wasn't. He just wasn't mentally ready. Like he wasn't mature enough. Like he did, he couldn't control his anger. There was just a lot. And I'm not saying like everybody grows, everybody learns, some people are just going to be the same piece of shit in 15 years and 20 years. They're always going to be that same piece of shit. And I'm proud of my dad for not being that piece of shit anymore. But like, he's a good guy now. Coming up, wasn't very tolerant of like mess ups, but yeah, he's good.
Well, I mean, that's part of the man journey, being a father. It's crazy how we're that age when our kids are that at the age that we were. It's a trip, and you. Well, for me, I got to understand. What about you, brother? How was your father?
So my dad is I'm quite a bit young to have. So my dad is 64. He's about to be 65 this year on December, and he was pretty rough growing up. I mean, a lot of times, like when we would play baseball, softball, football. Me and my older brother, we played every sport we could to make our dad proud of us because we both knew that's why we did it. And like my brother was out there. I remember my brother's senior year. He dislocated his shoulder twice in one game and kept going because my dad was watching. And on the last play of the game, he dislocated it again and passed out from the pain. And they had to take him to the hospital. And he ended up having hypermobility in his shoulder. And my dad was growing up. I mean, so if you could imagine back in Winnebago, there was no highway here. And everything was dirt roads. Like if you imagine like an old Western town, that's exactly what it looked like. Because I've seen old pictures of it. Like they had ice cream parlors and candy shops and hardware stores and stuff like that. But the thing is like back then there wasn't a whole lot. What the fuck is that? What are you doing, dude? I'm on the phone. I'll lock my doors now. Sorry about that, guys. One of my friends.
That was good.
So anyway, yeah, my dad's a much older guy, so it was always hard to impress him. And then years later, I sat down with my dad and I asked him, man to man, when I got older, I looked at him and I said, why didn't you ever tell us you were proud of us, or why didn't you tell us we did a good job, or how come you never did that? And he just looked at me and he looked me dead in my eyes and he said, I thought you knew. Like, I thought you guys knew I was proud of you, that I was happy that I had you boys because I'm still here, aren't I? And I never thought of it like that. I was like, that and still it wasn't even a good enough answer for me. It kind of made me mad, but at the same time, I understood that when he was 14, his dad passed away. And like all my family members, all his male role models were all alcoholics, or like I said, they were veterans, so they didn't really talk at all. They hardly talked to my dad. When they saw him, they would say hi, but they wouldn't, they wouldn't sit down and ask him how's life. So, I mean, I forgave him for that because he was learning, like you said. I can't hold that against him. He just didn't know. There's a difference between being ignorant and actively choosing to stay stupid, I guess, is how I feel about it.
Yeah,
I
that
always,
makes sense.
I always thought of it or I always thought of it as rather like uninformed or ignorant. Um, uninformed is like you don't know, and then ignorant is you don't know what you don't know. So it's like I don't know. I guess that's
It's well, I'll say to me, it sounds like that those generations of fathers are they're ones that they show by their actions and expect it. Because my dad, uh, he gave me the best encourager. You can do it, mijo. You're my blessing. You can do it. But I'll tell you the kind of guy he was, and I wanted to be like him, in the sense of, yeah, he's a cool ass dude. He's a cool ass dude, smooth talker. He had a lot of women. He was like cool, I like to look up to him because he always had women, money, and all kinds of. I just thought he was the coolest guy in the world, and to me, he was like, I was like, to me, he was like a good. But then I realized recently how selfish his choices were, in the sense because my grandma recently died at her funeral, and he has a bunch of kids all over the place. Well, the woman he was with, he never told her that he had a 38-year-old son. He only told her about the ones from his third or fourth wife. I don't know something like that. So in that case, he would encourage me with his words and his actions and say a lot, but his fatherly actions were not very fucking good. But that's why I looked at it differently. Like, I believe a lot of boys are lonely in terms of friends and with women, but my dad I never struggled with that personally. But I believe that's another one. My dad was like a big kid. Like, I drank my first thing with him. I smoked. That was the first guy I did everything with, because he said, I'd rather have you do it with me than out in the streets doing it. And he's the one that told me, he's all like, don't go looking for it, but if you're at home, which was the dumbest advice. That's how I lost my first baby's mother, because I could not keep my shit in my pants. A lot of it was his advice. He's all like, he goes, don't look for it, but no harm, no foul. Like, he was just being like, he was just trying his best to be real. So that's why I said, being a man, you go through the stages of being a son, a father, and a grandfather. And you only learn that with wisdom. And I believe men have to just fuck up to learn. I mean, it's the way I see it. So,
well, I think that men do have to fuck up to learn, but they have to draw inspiration from something for what that growth looks like. Because I feel like for some people, maybe I'm just being too specific. So, like, I feel like for a lot of guys, they will fuck up and they'll just do something real dumb, and then they are like dedicated to that fuck up. Like, they have to commit to that fuck up because they spend so much time making that mistake that they have to, like, I'm proud of it. Like, and they just refuse to grow from it. They're just like, yeah, well, it was dumb and stupid, but also, fuck you. How about that? And like, but I feel like that's a thing that, like, a lot of, God, man, when I was probably until I was like 22 years old, I had from like 16 to 22, when you're going through that weird phase of your life where you're like, I know everything that anyone's ever needed to know, and I'm smart and I can beat up my dad, and like you just go through this like weird I don't even know what to call it. Just this weird phase where you're just the smartest person in every room, and you're like, I should be able to smoke weed out of a soda can behind my while I'm on shift at Wendy's. This is a you problem. This isn't a me problem.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah. You want to tell your jobs that it's that young dumb full of cum or some say
man. I wasn't 16 when I did this. No, I don't know how old I was, but we were throwing rocks. We were throwing rocks just in the road because my cousin's like the back of the house had like a fence, and next to the fence was kind of a main road. So they had like rocks on there, like those big, like I don't know how to explain it. They look kind of like they're like football sized rocks. They're like these big things that they create like drainage with if you have like a sloped yard. And we were just throwing these things in the road. Like I said, it's kind of a busy road. Like, and I threw one and a car hit it going like 50 miles an hour, and they didn't wreck or anything, but also like there's not trees in between the fence and the road. I should say that there's just like, and it's like 8 feet away. So I threw a rock in the road, and then a car hit it, and then they slammed on their brakes because they just hit a fucking football-sized rock, and I'm the only person standing there. And they like look at me, and I'm like, oh my god! I had such a bad attitude about that. God, I still cringe when I think about that. They were like, "Did you hit my car with a rock?" And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of did." And then I think young men just need stronger men, and a thing that we are running into a lot because as a result of that is people like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is a result of weak male role models. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. That's how it is. Same thing with that. Who's that guy? The naturalist guy. He's like, I eat beef, natural beef.
Liver King.
Liver King.
Liver King is, yeah.
Trend King.
They're all grifters. They're preying on men's weaknesses and lack of ignorance, because a lot of it's like, bro, what the fuck? I mean,
but we've set up these young men. We've set up. I say we, like we're the ones responsible. We're not really the ones responsible, because I feel like if you met a young man without a role model tomorrow, you wouldn't be like, yeah, go check out an Andrew Tate video. You'd be like, hey man, tell me what's going on. I'm gonna tell you as best I can from my own experience what you should do. I'm not going to tell you that you need to buy a Bugatti for a girl to like you. No girl I've ever met, if you have like a shitbox Honda, there's a chance that a girl won't even care. You don't even have to lie to girls, fellas. If you're watching this and you want some dating advice, if they like you enough, they'll lie to themselves about how much of a future you have. But like these young men, they're turning to like Andrew Tate and the Liver King and like all these fucking dorks. You need a Bugatti so women will look at you. No, you don't. Be kind of interesting. Like have some sort of hobbies. Take showers. Like have hobbies. Shower, some kind of job.
Women just like to have fun. That's all it is. They like to have fun, and they're attracted to like nice things. That's it.
Kind of charismatic. That's it. That's all they care about.
Oh shit! I don't got game. I just sound good. My voice just carries it off. That's all. That's just me. But other people just be cool.
A
just be fun.
Mufasa voice. If you want women, get a Mufasa voice, And then there you go.
Yeah, do you know how it was when I was 14? My voice sounded like this at 14. I was 112 pounds. That's when I wrestled in ninth. Yeah, that I wrestled
It's
at that
very
weight
funny
class,
to be like,
and I would call a girl and
Miss
every
Anderson,
fucking time. Like, how old are
Miss
you? I'm
Anderson, I need to
14.
go to the bathroom.
The dad would answer, "Hello." I'm like, I talk to Ariana. Who is this? How old are you? I'm like 14. Bullshit, you're 36. I'm like, no, I'm fucking 14 years old, doc.
I
And
can't grow a mustache yet.
yeah, I barely had that little fucking, nothing. So it was, yeah.
It's 3 hairs on each side.
Yeah, I know my nephew. He respects me a lot, looks up to me, and asks things, and I'm kind of like, I don't. I'm gonna lie. I tell him the truth on stuff. I tell him the truth on everything, on what it is. He had to learn his lesson. He was 8. He had a girlfriend, and she was talking to a guy, and I had to kind of tell him to be. And now he's up on shit because he's around adults. Because he lives with my mom. He lives with his grandparents. He's nothing around adults all the time, so he's learning a lot of shit, and he doesn't want to be like his. He's on something, He's around adults all the time, so I think he'll be all right. My stepdad was a 33-year military veteran and stuff, been all over war, So, yeah, you're correct. Some people, a lot of men are weak, and they need to come to learn from a good role model. It's crazy. There's no balance. It's either the worst simpiest dudes in the world all weak and they get cuckified,
God.
and then there's Andrew Tate. Like there's no in
So
between. We gotta be a centrist in a sense. Like be real. Like I grew up from the generation of of pimps and drug dealers, and now these guys are in their music generation is of simps and users. If like it's pretty.
Like
It's wild, dude.
I feel so bad for like simps are their own. That's so sad. You just see like just to be like one of 20,000 guys trying to talk to like a female streamer on Twitch, like trying to be your top donator, brother.
Yeah, I think they're
something else.
Yeah.
That shit gets on my nerves, though.
You have like these guys who like have these unrealistic expectations of like what women actually look like because like normally it's as a result of porno. Just realistically, that's what
is with that.
It's poisoned their brain, bro. It's poisoned their brain to where they go outside and they see an average looking woman and they go, she doesn't have makeup on. Like they get so super weird about that. And this whole simp culture thing it's gross, dude. It's so gross. Just go find somebody to love, brother. Go find anyone to love, and just don't be weird. Like that's
a lot of guys. I just had this argument with a female coworker the other day, where she was trying to convince me that men love makeup. Like they love it when you put eyeliner on, they love it when you put foundation on, and she's 20. So I was sitting there explaining to her, I was like
that's for women.
We don't care
to impress other women.
Yeah. That's what I said. I was like, we don't care. Go ahead and wear all the makeup you want to whatever, because she was going on a first date with my friend. That's why she wanted to know. And I was like, no, we don't care. Like that does not matter to us. We would rather you show up without makeup on, to be honest, because it doesn't matter to us. I mean, we don't wear makeup. And then she compared like beards to makeup, and I was like, no, that's not the same thing.
For some men, hold on. For some men, that it's kind of the same. Some dudes, like, it's fine. They have like a decent jawline with or without it. Completely fine. Some dudes, especially bigger guys,
Yeah.
Bigger guys, it's a crutch. It really, really is. And if they don't have that beard, they just look like a Jackson Pollock, like a like like like, uh,
It's
like it's they got weak chins and they need it. I think that that's kind of an okay compare. I think that honestly, I think makeup is to women what like impressive delts are to guys. When like when you when you see a guy who has like really nice delts, like maybe it's just me, maybe I've been a gym bro for too long, but when I see like gym bro physiques are just for other gym bros. They're not for like no women are going out of their way to be like, hey, I notice you have amazing. They don't. Most women don't even really know the name for pecs, and I noticed this because like a week ago, after doing an exceptional like like a chest day, my wife was like, "Your boobies look good today," and I was like, "What the fuck did you just call them?" And she was like, "I don't know what they're called," and I was like, "Huh." Yeah, I guess it would be kind of weird if every time you go into the gas station, someone was just like, "Your pecs look awesome today." You know,
Yeah.
like.
That'd be weird.
that does sound funny now.
But if they
It's
say boobs, that's also kind of weird. Like, I don't know.
that's chicks. I mean, I
But no,
noticed they.
makeup's for women. It really
I mean,
is. Just
light
like
makeup is cool. I think.
outfits too. If a
I
girl
mean,
wore a dress on two different dates, you would not notice. I mean, I wouldn't notice. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I don't know, but I don't think I'd care.
uh, a lot of chicks like that though. You could use, oh, I like that. That goes with. Oh, that's just me though. That's just my game, I guess. But yeah, you're right though. Most dudes don't notice it. Like, I'm like, who cares? Light makeup is cool. Like, I like that old school chola look. I mean, sometimes that shit, I just dig that shit. But a lot of it go excessive. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck is foundation? I'm sorry. Now I don't want to talk like myself, but I'm like, what is all that
No, you're
foundation?
fine. I
Oh,
don't think cussing matters.
yeah. Well, no, I know it's very distasteful. It's just I that's another story, but yeah, I'm all like, why, like you don't need all that stuff and extra. That's like creating a whole face. I remember this one chick I had an adventure with on her white ass pillow. All of her face was on there. I was like, what the, that mean,
It's like a
that's supposed to be for a
scare.
special occasion. It's like dressing up. When you wear a nice suit, that's your best. Makeup should be worn as that, not all the time. And I'm like, are you going out? You're cleaning, home girl. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like it's funny though.
All right, I'm gonna have to wrap up here. I gotta kind of wake up early. Thank you guys for coming on to talk about this. If you have stuff that you wanted to shout out, Jorge, you want to go ahead and do that now?
All right, I live in the Corpus Christi area. If you ever have potholes or anything in there, call City Boys Contracting. We'd fill them holes up. Just get out there, cityboyscontracting.com.
Maxwell, you got Insta or anything to plug?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to watch me compete or anything, I most of it I post on my Facebook and my Instagram. My Instagram is MrMax06, and then my Facebook is just my name, Maxwell Littlewalker. If you're ever in the Sioux City area, you want to work out, go to Big Iron Gym. It's a great place to work out. That's where I compete out of. The gym that I work at is also great. Diabetes program and everything down here at Winnebago. Whirling Thunder Wellness Center is what it's called. About all I can think of. Appreciate it for you having me on.
Yeah, stick around for a minute. I'm going to talk to you guys afterwards, but thank you everybody for tuning in, and have a blessed night.
All right, good night.